Hey guys, how's it going? This episode we are going to be installing Service Bulletin 36 onto an RV3 horizontal stabilizer. So follow along. So today we are going to be installing Service Bulletin 36 on this RV3 stabilizer. The owner of this aircraft, during their last conditional inspection, inspected and found some cracks on the web where the outboard hinge is. So we're going to be replacing that. We've got the service kit for the aircraft. For this aircraft, some of the different models have different service kits, so check out that. Of course, when you're ordering, you're going to be using your ship serial number and all that, so you should know what you got. This particular aircraft was not built by the current owner, so we'll see how it goes, see what kind of construction it is. It is an RV3, so of all the RV, you might call this the RV3 series, maybe the most primitive, being the older, early design stuff. The kit consists of some channels that will go inside the, will nest inside the spar area for the outboard hinge. There's some plates for some other stuff. There's some backup plates. And then we've also got steel. We'll be replacing the existing aluminum outboard hinges on this aircraft with steel. They don't bend them up. That would have been nice. They don't bend them up, so we'll be bending these up and fitting them. And then because we're putting a nest doubler in here, these hinges are, if nothing else, are out of line because it'll be pushed out. So this will be adjusted. These hinges will be adjusted for the additional nest material. Outboard hinge point will move 40 thousandths. So follow along. Here we go. Okay, so we've got the Service Bulletin 36. We actually were able to get a kit. We got a kit from Vans. The owner got a kit from Vans. And we got, in that kit came a copy of Service Bulletin 36. We also printed another copy out for working in the workshop here. So we're going to go step by step and go through every step on this thing just to kind of show you what we're going to do. So, as I said before, this is an RV3 horizontal stabilizer, RV3B. And we're just going to go step by step on what Vans wants us to do. So, I'm not doing any kind of inspection. The owner has already indicated that these spars have some cracks in them at the outboard hinge. So we're going to look into that. You can see one of the reasons is outboard of the spar area, or in the outboard spar area, the finger doublers don't go out that far. There's just a lot of racking on either uneven ground, aerobatics, or whatever, with vibration, and it's kind of thin in this area. So what Vans is doing is they've supplied us with the kit, and this is kind of the inventory of the kit. I'll go through it. We have some nest doublers that go in here. These are all formed NC per the drawing. So now what Van has provided is 2 of these. Now, some of these aircraft being older aircraft, they may not have been formed quite per the drawing. They might be a little bit off where these will not fit. So what Vans has supplied is a couple of pieces of 040 material that you can fabricate your own to fit your own stabilizer. So that's going to be an issue. Another thing they're doing is where the hinges go, they're also adding on a doubler plate behind the hinge to kind of beef up that area. So that is going to be on the forward side. On the back side is going to be a nest doubler, and this is going to be, this will end up being trimmed to 7 inches, and then it'll actually have some finger cuts in it to actually match that area there. So that's what's going on there. And then we've got the steel pieces for replacing the hinge material. So this is 063 steel. So this aircraft has the original extruded aluminum hinges, so we're putting steel back on. These will have to be formed and then installed. So that's what's going on there. In addition, they also supplied hardware with in the form of Cherry Max rivets for the hinge application, and then also solid rivets for the trailing edge. So that's been supplied. The Cherry Max rivets are optional if that's the way you want to go. You can put Cherry Max in. They also, per the Service Bulletin, allow you to use solid rivets. Personally, I'd rather use a clench solid rivet any day over a Cherry Max rivet, whatnot. So that's what we're going to do there. The first thing I'm going to do is clean this table off, and I'm going to wrap this horizontal stabilizer off. This aircraft has just had a fresh paint on it. which kills me because I know we're gonna be cracking paint on the surface. So that's one of the things we're gonna have to do. The other thing is we're gonna mask off everything in the area of the hinge. But what we know is that this doubler will end up being trimmed at least 7 inches long. So depending on our hole pattern and whatnot, we're going to have a minimum of 3 trailing edge rivets on either side. It looks like on this we'll probably end up going 4. So now I'm going to be cracking paint on the top. My intent is to go peel the bottom up and do my access from the bottom, and then that way any paint repair will be on the bottom. I'll probably also be removing the tip rib to get access, and I'll do that only on the bottom. But I'll disconnect the tip access on the bottom, and then on the flange on the tip rib only on the bottom side, and then probably remove the nut plate strip just for now to give us some a little more flexibility. So that's all going to come off, and we'll do our access from the inside. But the most important thing is I'm going to wrap this thing up, and we'll be back in just a little bit. I'm going to wrap it up so I don't get anything scratched, and make sure I don't tear anything up. Okay, we've got everything wrapped up. I even marked on here bottom so that I know what side is the bottom after it's all wrapped up. What I try to do anytime I wrap something up is I don't want to damage anything, and I don't want to make any mistakes. So what I've done is I've masked off all the rivets that I am not going to drill. I've masked off on the other side. My goal is to do all my penetration on the structure from the bottom side. I kind of know where my spar is, mark that on both sides. So now we go to step 1, which is inspect. Our customer's already done that. Step 2, they say remove the outboard elevator hinge brackets to allow full inspection of the spar. So we're going to do that. The biggest thing is if we have spider cracks, that's one thing, but if they go in through the radius of the spar, that's problematic. So here we go. I'm going to start drilling these off. Okay, we've got the hinge brackets off. Now we can take a look at the hinge brackets themselves. We can see that there's quite a bit of oil and whatnot that it's creeped into here through the years. So that leads to fretting. You can see here the gray product. That is the fretting material or the stuff. So these guys have been moving around and bouncing around a little bit. We've got them marked inboard, outboard, left and right, but they're all terribly oily. And see what's going on. And I can see here that there was definitely some fretting going on. You see the gray, black stuff going on. That's the right hand side. Same thing here. We got some product. Left hand side isn't quite so bad. Kind of cleans right up, so they're pretty good. Again, these are the aluminum extrusion type, so we'll be replacing these with steel. And the final one here, you can see same thing. So clean it off. Doesn't look too bad, so good enough. But they will all be replaced with steel parts. So that's going on there. Let's take you. I'm going to grab the camera and move you down south here. Let's take a look at the. You can see the various product here, and then we'll get our rag and clean it off. You can see here we've got a crack here. We've got another crack going down toward the radius. We're going to have to look at that quite closely and double check that, make sure it didn't get in the radius. This doesn't look too bad. That one definitely has a crack working. Okay, we'll go to the other side. Let's see what's going on here. too bad. We'll get a light on it, but it doesn't look too bad. There might be a couple little spider cracks coming out of these, but we'll take a look at them with a light. Okay, you saw that we took off the fittings, and then what we did is as soon as we did that, we started doing inspection per the Spar criteria in the service bulletin. It said here, evaluate the cracks in the rear spar. Cracks meeting the following conditions mandate replacement of the spar. So this is what we're looking for. Cracks that have propagated into the bend of the spar, into the radius. Cracks that span from one rivet hole to another rivet hole. Okay, so that if that's the case, Vans considers that an issue. Cracks that do not meet the spar replacement criteria must be stop drilled using number 40. Hole must be at least 0.98. So they do allow you to stop drill if you just have a small crack propagating. I don't know the total time in this aircraft, but I'll find out for you guys. If you cannot meet these minimum edge distance when drilling, replace the rear spar. Okay, this is the story on this particular stabilizer. Both hinge points on the spar are cracked into the radius. So we're going to take a little bit of we're going to do a time warp, and you're going to see me coming back with some new spars in this thing. So this one here is a good catch on the inspection for the service bulletin. They found cracks on the other side, but because it's blind going into the radius, they could not see that. Once we opened it up by removing the outer fittings, we realized that these two spars are scrapped. So this is going to be a little bit bigger job, but we'll follow along.
The next morning.
Hey guys, we're back with the RV3B horizontal stabilizer with a cracked spar. So last time we talked, I was wearing a different shirt. I pulled the outer brackets off, the aluminum brackets. We're going to change those to steel as part of the bulletin. And next thing is we've got to take the spars out. So we've got to replace the spars. Now if you look at the structure of this horizontal stabilizer, there's one, I'll call it the main spar, along the aft section of the, kind of along this blue line here, along the aft section of the stabilizer. And then you've got an intermediate spar that goes pretty much from this bracket right here. This ties the center spars together to, let's see where it is. It's out here. It's out here, right about there. So you got another spar out there. So we only have two spars. We don't have any ribs other than the tip rib and the root rib. There's no ribs in here. So in order to take this spar out, we're just going to do the trailing edge rivets and take it out as a unit. Probably what I'll do is to make sure that we keep alignment and all of that. Because it's kind of secondary repair tooling, what I'll probably do is take a piece of plywood and block it up, set the two new spars. We've got two brand new spars here from Vans ready to go. We'll probably set those and fixture those to make sure that we're laser straight, make sure everything's good that way. So what I normally do when I'm doing sheet metal work, just to keep from being stupid, is I will tape over what I don't want to take any rivets out. Now before, when we were just going for opening up the bottom and taking doing the repairs by the brackets themselves, we're just going to take out these rivets here, about 3 on either side on the top. The bottom, we were going to take out the majority for what it would take to get this opened up to rivet in behind it. But now it's a brand new spar, so what we're going to do is we are going to have to drill these spar out. Now this is the tip rib, don't need to mess with that, we'll leave that there. And like I said, I'm just opening up rivets that I know as I get in my groove. I don't have to think, I'm just going along and taking those rivets out. So that's what we're doing here. We'll just unmask all that. And what I'll do is I'm going to get this unmasked, get that cleaned up. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is put you on slow-mo, fast-mo, whatever they call it, and have it so you guys don't have to watch me drilling out. Long story short, these are all number 3 rivets, so I'll be using the number 40 drill bit, 40 or 41 drill bit to take all this stuff out. This has all been dimpled, so I'll take this out, bring in the new spar, get it match drilled, then go take it out, get it dimpled. Probably I'll prime it, take it out again, prime it, acid etch iodine, prime it, and put it in. That's what I do. That's the way we roll. And then this beautiful horizontal stabilizer. It's beautiful red and white urethane, two-color urethane. We're we're going to strip all that off. And that way it'll be all fresh paint. Otherwise, we're going to have all sorts of chipped out stuff here. It's going to look like hell to try to block and match that in. And we've got some paint over in the counter there, which is about the price of gold, maybe a little more. And this will be completely repainted and refinished. Before we take anything off, we're going to mark our markings and where the curve is, and we'll make patterns of that. We'll might even show you how to do that. So that's what's going on the structural repair. Get this going. So here we go. We're going to put you on stop action, whatever they call it. Okay, we got one side, the top, we got the top all, the rivet heads drilled. I'm going to spare you getting all the rivet heads out, and then we'll flip it over. But we've got them drilled down just below the skin level, and then we'll come in with a 3/32 punch, break the head off, and then take them out that way. So that's what we'll do. Once we get those out, then we will we'll show you. We'll come back when we're all done. We're getting ready to pull the spar, because more of the same. So you drill one rivet out, you kind of drill 500.
2 very boring minutes later.
Went from slow motion to fast motion or whatever. But anyway, long story short, on the bottom we've got 38 on either side, 76 rivets on the skin. We've got 3 on each end for the rib, the outboard rib, inboard rib. We've got 2. The 2 on the inboard rib go through your big doubler here for the wing spar. So that's the bottom. Nope, that's the top. Now we go to the bottom. Same program. We'll be back in a flash. Okay guys, we've got everything drilled out. Pretty simple structure, but we've got the 3 rivets. I think I just said this. We've got the 3 rivets on each wing tip that go into the tip rib. We've got the 2 rivets here that go through the root rib. We've got all the rivets on the bottom, all the rivets on the top, and there's about 150-ish plus or minus rivets. This is just a little RV 3B. Your bigger ships, of course, can have more parts. So anyway, this thing should be loose. I haven't touched it, so let's see if we can get the spar out. Oh, yay. Okay, now we're looking at the spar damage, and I'll take some pictures of this. This is kind of cool. Now we're getting eyes on. There's a crack. Now this is we're going to keep this, let's mark this. First things first. Let's get this marked. Okay, so this is the bottom, and this is the left hand. No, right hand. Right hand and left hand. And any of you folks that have built one of these, you know exactly what we're looking at. So, kind of cool. Anyway, the spars themselves look great. No primer on them. That's not a problem. Plain will probably go forever. But on this hinge installation, there's only, on this RV3B, there's only, for the hinges, there's only 2 rivets on each hinge half. So that's just the way they do it. On the bigger ships, I think you've got 4 in each half. So that's the deal. But there's a crack coming in here and wrapping around to the flange, all halfway on the flange to the end of the part, which is very bad. There's spider cracks on this hole. You can see there's oil. It could be smoke oil or whatever, kind of lubricating the joint. And there's spider cracks on 3 out of 4 holes. One of them is a fail. So on the left hand, that's on the right hand side. On the left hand side, we have, I can't see any cracks from this side, but we have some. I think the left hand side is probably okay, but we're changing them both out. But I think we had some spider cracks on this one. But we'll take some pictures of it and show you what we have. So when the owner surveyed this, they said they had cracks on both sides. It looks like one side might not have been cracked, but it looked like it was probably getting ready to. I've already cleaned off a bunch of stuff, but there's a lot of the smoking that's gone away. So anyway, on a spar. So what I think I'm going to do on this, again, this is a repair. So what we're going to do is I'm going to build a fixture for the spar. We're going to take this spar assembly, fixture it, and then we will disassemble it. After we disassemble it, strip the parts, Aladyne it, reassemble it with the new spar pieces in the fixture. And the fixture is just going to be a flat board. That will keep everything laterally going well. As far as fore and aft, the skin here will take care of that, and the ribs. So I think we'll be in pretty good shape there. So anyway, on to disassembling these big honking doublers. So this is going to take a while, and to tell you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to break here, and we're going to come back when the spar assemblies themselves are all busted down. So it's just a lot of drilling a crap ton of rivets out. So anyway, we'll be back. Hey guys, we have got this spar all the way apart. Now I've got the horizontal stabilizer on the other side of the shop. What we're going to do here is I've got the spars all apart. These things are going to be replaced with all brand new spars. Again, this is not part of the kit. We ordered these from Vans, so we've got those. The spar straps are going to be, we're going to strip acid etch, Aladyne, all that stuff, and then we're going to put in Service Bulletin 36 assets. So that's what's going on right now. I think what I'm going to do is break this. This is going to be part 1 of probably 2 parts. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to strip the hinges and get those all ready to go. So everything's going to be stripped Aladyne, and we'll show you the parts in the fixture ready to reassemble. So until next time, Hanger Rats out. Go fly yourself.